Thanks. I'm really happy to be here at the African Agency Tech Summit 2021. My name is Seth Bridges, and I'm the head of product and one of the founders at Rival IQ. And I'm really thrilled to be working with to help us better support our customers throughout Africa. Today, I hope to take a few minutes and share with you about how we help our agency customers improve their clients' impact on social media. To do that, we're really focused on answering a single question. How are our clients really doing on social media? This, if you run an agency, should absolutely be a question that you have a great answer to if you really are looking to improve your clients' performance and outcomes on social media. For us, helping our customers get to those answers efficiently and deeply is absolutely a huge piece of our mission. And we do that in 4 key ways. First, through competitive social media analytics. You know that data-driven strategies, data-driven audits, data-driven decision-making generally with respect to everything you do in digital is so important. But of course, metrics without benchmarks, metrics without context just aren't nearly as impactful. You know your clients ask for it. All of our customers know that with context, they can better understand the opportunities that they have within social media and digital more generally. Now, deep connections with every one of the social media platforms lets us go even deeper into clients' private data to understand really what's working well, what isn't, and how to coach them to do even better. Continuing to be really solid and efficient with ongoing reporting is absolutely critical to keeping your clients happy and minimizing the amount of work it takes to do that ongoing reporting. And so a huge piece of our platform is there to be able to keep you informed and to do so without a ton of effort. And then finally, bringing data from social media systems, competitive and owned for your clients, is so important if you're utilizing third-party tools like Google Data Studio or Tableau or some other reporting systems that are a part of your agency's own workflow. And when we integrate all the work here across these 4 different areas, we start to get to a place where you absolutely can really have a quite deep understanding about how your clients are doing on social and what you can do to help them improve. So social media and social media tooling, social media stack from a MarTech perspective, it's complicated. There are a lot of tools. Rival IQ is very focused on the competitive analysis of owned social media. So what are your clients saying about themselves on social? And what are their competitors saying about themselves? What kind of metrics and performance are we seeing for your clients? And how does that compare across their market landscape within a single channel and across many channels? Now with that, we mix in some lightweight listening, some social search and discovery to round out what we're doing in the competitive analysis side of things. Then of course we go a bit deeper with your private social media analytics, mixing in some paid social media data, particularly for those boosted posts on a number of channels. And then last, adding in some lightweight web analytics for those social media and digital teams to better understand the impact of their social media on their overall web presence or e-commerce presence. Our tooling absolutely fits in and layers with your social inbox tools, your full web listening tools, and a number of other pieces of software that you might be using to do social media management, publishing, or workflow. Our customers are all over the globe. And when you break it down between agencies and brand, it's almost 50-50. I have the pleasure of working with quite a number of really amazing, both agency and brand customers all over the world. A lot of big names that you've heard of, maybe Ogilvy, Radius, Laughlin Constable, or a Yamaha, L'Oreal USA, or a TaylorMade if you're a golf fan. We have some of the best and brightest customers in the market, and I am just so excited to be able to continue to support them in improving their social media efforts. Now, how do we get from this high-level question, how are our clients really doing on social, moving through starting to try to do the work to answer what can they do to improve, and finally end up at a place where we're putting those strategies into place and executing on actually seeing improvements. So think about all the different places we can be getting data from social media: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook ads. The list goes on and on. Each one of these platforms has different kinds of data and lots of it. We have data from our profiles, our handle names, our bios, a lot of the positioning language, links we're trying to drive people from on social off to our websites or other places where we're trying to capture further attention, monetize, etc. You mix in a ton of post data. So many brands put out a ton of social media every single day. When you start to think about how much data that is on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual basis, there's a lot to get through. But with a platform like RivalIQ, we're there to ingest all of this data from all of these platforms to make it a lot easier to end up with the analysis and insights you need to really improve your pitches, do more comprehensive audits, make sure that every one of your strategies is really data-driven, and to simplify that ongoing monitoring. It's so important to us that our customers, particularly our agency customers, are really in the know and are the ones that are bringing the insights and the breakout posts and the breakout analysis from things that are happening in the market to their clients before their clients even know about them themselves. So we could keep talking about this sort of in the abstract, but I think it's really much more impactful if we just go ahead and jump into the software and let's have a quick look. So here we are in RivalIQ, and let me give you a quick orientation. Here for today in this little bit of analysis that we'll do, let's focus on ETV. And I've brought in a number of other media companies throughout Africa to give us a little bit of context: DSTV, IOL, Jacaranda FM, etc. These are really easy to add in. You just need the website of any one of these vendors, like a dstv.com. I pop it in, and away I go, adding that to my analysis. So for today, ETV, this is going to be our focus company. This is going to be like our client. They're going to make them the center of attention and the center of this analysis. For each one of these channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, for each company, every day, RivalIQ is going out and pulling in every update, every post, all of the engagement metrics, keeping things up to date so that you have the most complete data set with which to work. So let's start with what is really our bread and butter, this competitive social media comparisons. So jumping in here at a cross-channel level, really high level, we're focusing on top-level performance metrics for ETV over the last quarter. We see audience, we see how much they're posting, we see total engagement. We're getting a quick look at some of their top performing content on each of these 4 key channels. And then what for me is the most impactful, simple communication tool for a lot of our client situations, which is our high-level benchmarking on these key audience, activity, and engagement metrics. In each case, we see ETV's performance broken down channel by channel and compared against the average competitor in this market. We're doing it again for each of these metrics, and throughout the tool, we're going to be able to find these key benchmarks for any metric that we're having a look at. Here, for example, we can see ETV over the last quarter has generated over 475,000 engagements, primarily on Facebook, and that over the previous quarter, they're up 61%, while their average competitor is only up 42%. So way to go ETV. Now, of course, aggregate analytics are useful, and some quick benchmarks are absolutely a great way to show success or opportunity for improvement to customers. But we can go a layer deeper. Often, our customers and our clients are more concerned with looking at performance and tracking against particular competitors. So here we have an opportunity to look at a lot of those key metrics, not only against that aggregate, that average, but looking at it competitor by competitor. Of course, we still see those averages laid in here to get a sense of who's doing above and below average, but we can go line by line and see who really is having big growth and who's not. Additionally, we're bringing trends to many of these metrics here in this leaderboard, and in our custom dashboard solution to any metric throughout the platform we can get here. For example, we see that ETV is posting about 200 times a week. Save this little blip here where they put out a bit more content, but that their average competitor is publishing a lot more, or like 350 and as many as 400 times a week. Now, to come up with these kinds of aggregate metrics for each one of these vendors, or excuse me, each one of these companies, channel by channel, we have to get all the way down to the post data. So I'm going to jump into just one channel here, Facebook. There's a lot of activity and engagement here on Facebook. And so we're just looking now at this single channel, but let's get down all the way to what is really one of the most powerful pieces of Rival IQ, social posts. So this tool is where we get down to the raw post level. One post at a time, we can see the individual metrics, the content, the creative that went along with that image, and we can see it in a variety of different ways. We can focus more on the visual aspects, or again, we can get back into a more holistic view, looking at quite a number of metrics. From this raw post level data for every one of these companies, now we can start to dive into all of the different things that make the posts go. So it might be hashtags. There might be a certain hashtag that's really popping for someone, or that hashtag rather might be correlated with a particular campaign or campaigns that are doing particularly well. It may be about a topic that's particularly popular or effective within any single brand's content. So here we're seeing our natural language processing pulling out a number of phrases that are showing up quite a lot in this content, and we can start to see terms that show up a bunch and also have high engagement. If we want to dig in, you can click on any of these rows and get a preview of all of the content that is behind that aggregate or behind that row. And it's starting to give us a glimpse into some of the actual posts and content that they're driving. Additionally, on platforms like Facebook, Rival IQ is looking for posts that we believe to be boosted, giving you some more insight into where dollars are as much of an impact as against that content performance as the actual content it is itself. Additionally, we know there are factors that absolutely affect reach and impressions, and therefore engagement on these platforms. What kind of media did we include in these posts? Was it a photo? Was it a pure status update? Was it a link? Was it a video? And then finally, being able to analyze for both our key customer and the landscape, how does the time of day and the day of week impact the performance of this content? So for example, here we see so much of the content is published sort of between 7 and 8 a.m. through to about 5 or 6 p.m. And when we start to tail off until the kind of wee evening hours. And of course, the correlated engagement. You see nice pops here in that noon hour, both for ETV and the rest of the landscape here on Facebook. So with all these breakdowns, we really can get into what is driving performance. The really amazingly powerful thing about this tool is that we can start to do all of this analysis broken down by a filtered search. Maybe we want to look at just the videos. Maybe we would just like to look at posts that mention breaking news. Maybe we would like to look at all of the sponsored content or all the Oprah, Meghan, and Harry interview data. Whatever it is that we might like to dig into, let's go find an example here quickly. Stiletto Vendetta. So here are a number of posts about a program on ETV. And if I would like to do a full analysis on this, I can just absolutely grab that hashtag and let's run that search. So we see over the last quarter, there were 48 total posts about Stiletto Vendetta. And ETV did most of them. Jacaranda FM had 1. And on average, we see an engagement rate of 0.008%. ETV is using hashtags in all of their posts. And then we can see what are the other hashtags that appeared along with that content that performed particularly well. What were some of the additional popular phrases or topics that appeared? How did these content or media types break down? And was time of day or day of week a factor in this? So being able to search on any hashtag, any keyword, and throughout this entire data set, and then begin to filter down further by post type, boosted status, et cetera, is really, really powerful. To further support this kind of analysis, whether it be on a campaign level or about creative, we have a really flexible post tagging system here that allows us to be able to annotate. Let's just look at ETV for a second here, to annotate any one of these posts with the tag so that we can further understand how the content performs in clusters, whether it be, again, by campaign or by hashtag, et cetera. So here you can see I've got a number of tags like ETV scandal or tonight at. These are sort of adverts for a program that's coming up later that evening. I've applied a number of tags automatically here in this landscape, and now I can see how these, say, ETV scandal posts perform against Durbin Gen or all up the ETV content. So for example, ETV scandal at 0.18% is dramatically outperforming the average post from ETV. So there, from sort of high to low, we have a really quick look at what it means to look at top line metrics, some basic competitive benchmarking, starting to do content research about what really works and what doesn't work, supported by some additional tools like post tags to really be able to very effectively show our clients what's working and what's not. Now, to share out a lot of this analysis, it's really useful to be able to export reports. Everything in RivalIQ is fully exportable. You can get a PowerPoint or a PDF or a PNG of any of these reports. And if there's something that you'd like to see periodically, say a weekly update, you can schedule the delivery of any of these reports. I'd like this report every week covering the previous week, say Monday morning as a PDF, and I'd like it at 7 a.m. Once I've done that, I schedule it. And now every Monday morning, I'm going to wake up at work to a fresh copy of all of this data for one of my important clients. It gives me a chance to review and head into the week with confidence, knowing I know more about what happened last week than anyone else. Now, sometimes our clients need particularly special reporting. So we have a full custom dashboards system that allows me, for example, to start with a template like this Facebook summary report, and then come in and edit it as necessary to be able to get the visualizations and the analysis exactly to what I need for that client. So here I might want to come up with a visual content analysis. And so I'm going to switch the mode here to a grid, and I'm going to update that. And again, now I've got the data looking exactly the way I want. It might be changing a metric. It might be changing the type of visualization, trying to show a trend versus time. Maybe I'm trying to show just my competitive averages versus every single competitor. But before you know it, within a few clicks, there you are, able to give a client exactly the PDF, PowerPoint, et cetera, report that they need to understand how their content is performing. The last thing that I think is so important is our alerts. This is RivalIQ on your behalf, keeping a finger on what's happening with all of your clients and their competitors. When we find interesting things like posts that do particularly well, breakout posts, or posts that we feel like have a decent amount of budget behind them, we're going to go ahead and send you an email once a day with a bunch of these alerts so that, again, that monitoring for you is quite simple. If something shows up, it's probably worth paying attention to. And now you know more than the client does without really lifting a finger. So I'll leave it with there. There's a lot more to the platform, but that should just give you a really good taste of what the powerful impact you can have with competitive analytics for your clients and their competitors. So, of course, RivalIQ's powerful social media analytics platform is a really useful way to stay in touch with how your clients are performing and how they can improve. But additionally, we're working really hard to make sure you have as much context as possible to provide to them about, again, the opportunities for them to improve and where they're already doing really, really well. We publish a number of reports and benchmarks every year. Our broad social media industry benchmark report is something that is very anticipated and highly used by all of our agency customers to show how their clients are maintaining or improving against benchmarks. Additionally, we produce a lot of educational content, trying to help our customers become better social media marketers or better coaches for their clients in their own social media efforts. I really appreciate being able to spend time with you all today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the Tech Summit. Thanks.